atmosphere, that atmosphere was what made me want to continue in Toronto Krump. That's that was like the deal breaker for me to keep wanting to come back, because I could have been to a session that really didn't spark anything in me, and I would have just like stuck with hip hop or came in and out of Krump or whatever the case may be. But remembering that energy, it didn't scare me. It didn't intimidate me. It was just, I wanted to be there. You know what I'm saying? And so things obviously happened within Toronto Krump and the dance scene. I don't know, I'm pretty sure people remember where it kind of divided Krump from the dance scene. And so I think we kind of tiptoed and walked on eggshells to kind of prove to people, like, we're not gonna hurt you, like, we're not gonna battle you on sight. Because I think a lot of people were really, like, they just misunderstand, and it's a really big misunderstanding. But I think with Rhino doing what he's doing, like, I have to give him a shout out, because he's putting Krump in studios that wouldn't necessarily come out to sessions, but he still put his foot in the door, and we show up regardless of who shows up from the dance community. But even throwing the popping versus Krump, that was huge to have two styles in there go at each other, right? And it's super important, but then it's also super important. And I remember messaging you, Rhino, about like what happened in the finals. Like, what was the finals about? Because of the fact that Krump was in the finals, but all we heard was popping music. So to me, like, the symbolism in that is that, again, we're tolerated, but I don't think we're as respected as we should be. Considering the amount of energy we bring to a lot of events, we still don't have Krump music in in rotation. And if we do, it's a Busta Rhymes track.
Dead.
or it's a really old instrumental.
That song?
It plays one time. So, like, I think as a community, we tried both ways, and like, for some reason, it's just, it doesn't hit with people. And like, I don't want to like on the dance community. It has nothing to do with that.
But wait, say it again, because you got cut off there. You don't want to.
I don't want to like look down or like, lecture the dance community. But it's really what Marcus was saying about a misunderstanding. People are not approaching us, but we're approaching them. You get what I'm saying? So I think that kind of left us not wanting to really get in people's faces, but like, that's the essence of Krump. But then there's all that trauma from the dance community that if we do bring that out, it becomes, oh, see, like that right there.
Well, I could agree with you, Monica, on that, but I also want to agree with Rhino on the thing when he said that people are skeptical about it. The one thing I've noticed, especially within the dance community, is there's a lot of pride going on. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of, I don't want people to see me look bad, or like, there's a lot of that, and that's like, I'd say it's the main thing that is stopping a lot of people from doing anything or like discovering other things in general, is because it's the idea that I'm comfortable in my bubble, I'm comfortable with this style, so I'm gonna stay in here because it feels good. But the moment I take a step out and I'm vulnerable because I don't know this thing, it doesn't feel good, so I'm gonna just go back and just keep it to myself, kind of a thing. And so
Mm.
technically I could see that. I agree with that. There's a lot. I think there's more that has to happen within the dance community per se, when it comes to like even unity within the dance community, because there's still a lot of segregation. There's still a lot of like, there's so much pride. There's so much like not enough support. There's still like the little cliques. There's still like all this shit that's going on. And so sadly, that's what happens on your end, where it's like we send people to you guys, but technically it's that 1% that is willing to try and change, right? And that's an actual fact though. Like I definitely agree with that. And that's like a sad thing that's been going on. But it's been and it still is till this day. So yeah.
Yeah. To touch on that, like I can say like the trauma aspect, I can feel like that was like that was the beginning. So you can say a lot of those people are older now.
Mm-hmm.
So the trauma was with the younger gen. Like when right after, I'm gonna full on say it, right after that battle where that shook the grounds, that really gave that bad image of Krump. I feel like everybody in that era was like, yo, who are those guys? I'm not going to no session. Like what? Like they're gonna beat me up. Like I'm not going. So I can say that's like the younger gen. But like now, what Aaron's saying, like today, it's all about like, yo, that's cool. I see tie dyes. I see all these battles. I see beat ashes on TikTok all the time. So people see Krump.
Mm-hmm.
Concrete's on, like they know what Krump is. It's just like, yeah, I'm not gonna get into it because I don't want to look stupid. Or I don't want to look vulnerable. So yeah, that's my take on that.
But I think the support and the respect aspect of it, I think that's what I was tackling for. Not so much the actual bringing people into dance. I was more so talking about like as a community, like where we stand in like with like are we on the same platform as hip hop, as house, as popping. I feel our dancers have done enough to at least be shown that respect. And I've seen it, and then I've seen the other end of it. So that's just what I meant. But I agree, like there's a misunderstanding in the pride thing to do with dancers. That's a whole different.
And honestly, like being the black sheep too, in essence, like you gotta just be, if you're aware of it, you gotta just still show the light, right? You still gotta show, through your actions, through how you lead, through what you provide for the dance and the community. You know what I mean? The positive side of Krump, and at this point, at least for me, like I don't move with the expectation of needing to be really understood or supported from the dance community, because if they're willing to understand, they'll want to understand. And as long as I can still provide education about the dance, because it's going to be an endless thing, right? You know what I mean? The education for this dance is going to be endless, and even people here are still learning. You know what I mean? The leaders are still learning about this dance. So I think a positive perspective is just like to still move with an educated mind and humbleness, and like you're gonna have those people that aren't gonna support as per usual. Oh well, you still gotta move forward. Like I'm not gonna wait for them to respect me. I don't even need them to respect me, because I respect myself, and I respect what people in the community are doing for the people. You know what I mean? It's for everything in Krump is for the people. You know what I mean? So if they can't even see that alone, then like why should I even have to worry about them at this point? You know what I mean? And that's why, like, when we're doing our stuff, like we just gotta still move forward. Like, you know what I mean? And we gotta. That's why we show up these all-star battles. We ramp Krump to the purest people who experiment with their style of Krump, show how they can articulate Krump in the same environment as those dancers. You know what I mean? Because it's still like hard to believe, but like a lot of Krump dancers win these all-star battles, and again, the craft still can be respected to a level. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be an ongoing. It's gonna be an ongoing thing.
Yeah, for a long time at least.
Yeah, we just gotta keep pushing the force. We gotta keep educating. Yeah, 100%.
You know what's funny? I think like Krump doesn't have a strong enough economic base for people to care. So if you look at like popping and like hip hop dancing, like we have a bunch of little dance competitions with people that can and cannot dance very well, doing a lot of things in those spaces, right? And kind of they have a lot of resources and space, and there's a lot of like economic backing, right? And I feel like that's because even Toronto was like a cloud city, right? So like if it looks cool, I'm there, right? So and so like there isn't enough looks cool. Like if we get Brian Spudu at a Krump session, boom, we're good. But I'm joking, but I'm not joking. And so like I find that also too, I am someone also the forefathers or the OGs of like Toronto Krump, we old
You're coding.
or whatever.
This
Yeah, but like
guy.
we old. You know what I mean? Like or like are like busy, not able to do certain things, and able to and would love to engage in different ways. So you know what would be so cool? Like we'll talk about that. Like what's cool? Like I think I don't know. All economic infrastructure and how like movements happen and what like older people have moved to do after they're done their tenure. Like there isn't really like that thing that I think when Rhino and Monica, when you guys had that session and you decided to make vets judge, that was a solid move. That was it was one of those things where I finished doing it and I'm like, damn, they got me. That was good. And so like, and then I started crumping. I was dancing. Aaron got, and so it's like it's literally figuring out how movements work and like blah 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 blah. blah. Anyways, but what you guys were saying was mad dope. One point before I go to the next question, I hated seeing like people add Krump to their hip hop performances. It was always so horrible. Like it was like and they really thought like yeah, like this is good. Like I just gotta do that. And then it was like, nah, you shouldn't have did that.
Yo, the worst is that buck hop.
This thing, and they're dead serious. And I'm like, no, bro, that is not the move. It is a damn shame. And if someone that actually did the dance, like not to be a hater, you didn't even come to ask anyone. You just went on YouTube and said, let me just do it.
No.
And then, nah, bro.
Yeah.
And what's the worst part is that they got scored well. Yo, Aaron, talk to your dance people. Anyways, so
Don't kill me.
next group. Next question. Like that's like it's crazy. I'm just joking, Aaron. Obviously, Aaron's like
Aaron.
Aaron, I'm just joking. But no, I will say I've seen my fair share of bullshit for those hip hop choreo dances, and I was like, yeah, that looks horrible. All right, next question. Talk about your current and past relationships with other Krump groups. Were these relationships positive? Why or why not? This is the T. It's a T report.
This is a good question.
This is the T
It's a
report.
good question.
Yeah, you had to come on. You had to speak up. No, okay, but that
It's a good question, bro.
Right?
Bro, that's a
The whole
spicy
time.
one. Oh,
It's a spicy.
I
Muy
know,
caliente, bro.
I'm telling you.
man.
You're like, okay, just to look. One time, because I'm Jamaican, right? So I be eating spicy food. I went to get Sri Lankan food that boxed me up. I didn't know it was that spicy. I think that's where we're at.
Oh, you go to Babu's, bro?
I went to this next one in Scarborough, and then I was on like a weird like
Which one?
I forgot what it was
Which one?
it was right on what was it, Morningside and Shepherd area ish. Up there, and I was like, I can do this. This is soft. Whoa! Let me tell you, ice and water. Let me tell you how me and ice were friends. Okay,
Spicy
sorry.
food is
bring
no
it back.
joke, Adrian, bro.
It's not a joke. It's not playing with you. It was good, but it was just like wow. Okay, sorry. Let me get back to it.
Bubble
So,
guts.
let's not even. I don't want to mess up people. Anyways, okay. Talk about your current and past. So let's talk about the past. Let's do it. Talk about the past relationships with other Krump groups. Were they positive? Why or why not?
Krump groups.
So we'll make it easy.
You mean like fams and
Yeah, Krump groups, like your past relationships, like.
Like
I can say majority of everybody is like there's still a strong relationship